Hey guys, welcome back to Island T right here on Win Media SKN and Jade. I'm very excited.
Me too.
Yeah? Well, why don't you tell the people who is it that we have in studio with us?
Well,
this
guys,
morning?
we have the pleasure of having the current newly crowned Miss St. Kitts and Nevis National Carnival Queen, Miss Nekirah Nicholls, in studio this morning.
What? Morning.
Good morning. Good
Them
morning.
sounds like
What? What?
you know the sounds that you just make like what the DJs don't make when like
I'm not
you're
the DJ.
helping.
I'm
You're
not the
helping.
DJ.
We need some special effects.
Yeah, we need to work on it. But Nekirah, it is such a pleasure to have you joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
And how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Well, Jade, I am I must say, we have the new, like you mentioned, the newly crowned Miss St. Kitts and Nevis National Carnival Queen in studio, and this particular competition, Nekirah, I think really excited a lot of people.
It did.
More so than shows I would have seen in a few previous years.
Yeah.
Maybe because we didn't have one in 2020. That might be part of it.
It could be part of it, but I don't think that was the
That wasn't
reason.
the big reason.
No.
That wasn't the big reason. I think it was just a show that people understood that they could really look forward to. A good show.
We had 5 really, really good girls this year.
Listen, y'all were spectacular, okay? I was sitting home like, thank God I am not a judge of anything because I could not do this. It was
I heard
so...
that a lot. I actually, one judge posted that this was one of the most difficult pageants that he ever judged.
Wow, imagine that. And that really just speaks to the quality of the contestants, right? But how is it, like, I always find it interesting. I've said it here before, and so I can't hide. I'm not necessarily a huge pageant guy.
No, he hates pageants.
Hate is a strong word.
Okay, he dislikes.
Right? And it's not because I don't like pageantry. I don't like people like who support it. That's what it is, right? But we ain't about that. But what I always find interesting is it seems like such a long journey. Just the preparation, getting ready for this one night of performance.
It is. And initially when I first applied, I really just thought about show night. As a performer, I was just looking forward to show night, and I totally forgot about all the appearances that we had to make.
It does seem as though this particular journey did include a bit more than usual. It seemed like it was a lot more involved than previous shows I would have witnessed.
Yeah, I don't think at first I was really prepared for the appearances and getting glammed up all the time. You know me as I'm pretty chill, sneakers, t-shirt, and I totally had to revamp. There was a lot of firsts for me with this pageant. Had to lose the glasses, get some contacts. And it was the first time wearing contacts, first time wearing eyelashes. So it was a different experience, totally out of my comfort zone, but I think it really challenged me, and I think it's great for personal development.
So you enter into the you applied for the show. For me, what is it that sparks that interest? And I guess it might be different for different contestants and different persons who apply. But for you personally, what really was it that kind of even got you interested in being a part of this?
I always played with the idea of entering the National Carnival Queen pageant. So when I was young, Genevieve Hanley was my tutor, and while being my tutor, she entered the pageant also. And ever since then, I played with the idea. But as mentioned before, I always just look towards show night. I love performing, I love dancing, love modeling. Public speaking was the most challenging part, I would say, of the journey. But I always played with the idea, but I just saw show night.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see
All that goes in.
all the
Yeah.
other parts of the journey. So I think I always played with and I also thought it would be a great opportunity for me to bring awareness to my platform, which I'm absolutely passionate about. I've spoken about it multiple times, which is the implementation of financial literacy education into our high schools.
Watch it, right? We're gonna need to bring it back to top just about that.
That
Because
alone.
this is something that we'd be banging about here all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I see you guys had Terrence Martin,
Yeah.
he's awesome at delivering about the importance of implementing it and even just getting our citizens on a whole aware.
We might
For
have
sure.
to do a collab episode with the both of them.
Something that happened,
Yes,
did.
yes,
Something
I
that
agree.
happened.
But so tell us, you said you weren't really prepared or weren't really thinking about the other side of pageantry, because a lot of the times people don't, just like yourself, they don't think about the whole appearances. You have to push yourself while practicing.
Just the preparation for the show too.
Yeah, because you're doing all these appearances and you still have to practice for the night. You still have to get everything down packed. So tell us a bit about that journey. How did that go for you?
Well, I'd have to break it down into parts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so first I contacted my chaperone and I said, hey, I'm thinking about entering. This was the year before, and then, nothing happened. So I was like, okay, I guess I lose my chance. And then the carnival committee said, oh, since we delayed the pageant, we're going to extend it 1 year. I was like, oh, I guess this is a sign then that I'm really supposed to enter. So my chaperone said, well, do you still want to play with the idea? And I said, okay, but let me tell you, I'm still having trouble with public speaking. Not having a master's and being in New York and doing multiple presentations, I was fine. But something with St. Kitts crowd makes me
Look,
nervous.
Different. I tell people all the time.
They are
St. Kitts
tough.
people different.
They are very difficult to speak in front of. Very, very difficult.
Tell me, so I was like, so we had to break it down. She's very into getting you into the right mental space. And she's what is making you most scared about this segment? And I said, looking stupid. I don't want to look stupid. I don't want people to call me stupid. And I said, oh, she was here and she got this and this, and she can't even answer the people in question.
Yep.
And I was and even though past contestants and I would have interacted with multiple past contestants and queens, and they would tell you the same thing. It's not that you don't have the answer, and it's not that they're stupid. Of course not.
Mm-hmm.
But something about being in front of St. Kitts crowd, or let me just say a crowd in general, that makes you really nervous. Sometimes the words there, but you just can't deliver it how you want to. Or
Something
just
happens between the brain and the mouth.
Yeah.
You just can't explain at times. Yeah.
That is very factual.
So from the beginning, we knew that this was going to be like one of the most challenging parts of the journey. So we worked on it from early. The next part was my body. So I'm pretty chill. So my dress code, my wardrobe, and my body. I would speak about first as a minimalist. We had to revamp my wardrobe. I'm usually not a very glammed up. As I said, lashes always did, always beat. But when it comes to performing, show night, of course, I'm gonna bring it.
Right.
So which I was looking forward to. So we had to get prepared for that part. I contacted a personal trainer from the get-go because I know I needed to get my body right. I also knew that there would be 4 other girls that I know would be working probably twice as hard as me. So I shopped around for a personal trainer. I contacted Paula Collins and...
Oh, good body, Paula?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Paula been on the show too.
Yes.
She was very, very, very nice. Very, very
She
gentle during the process. She was not like, oh, Nekirah, you need to do this. And, I've heard other past contestants say, oh, the trainers would probably make them vomit and do this. And she was like, Nekirah, did you rest? Well, I don't think that we should train today if you did not rest, because you would not be able to give me 100%.
Right.
When it came to my diet, she did make it a little restrictive, but not like what people think. It was just cutting processed foods, really.
But Nekirah, I can tell you something, right? To me, you have been active, and maybe because you're a dancer and stuff like that, do you think that aided you in, this was just a whole new dimension for you in terms of the physical preparation?
I keep saying I'm gonna do it before and after, and you guys gonna see. My body was not even close to where it needed to be to compete.
No, I got you.
It was not. I was doubting myself in terms of like, I don't think I should enter again, because I don't even know how I'm gonna after quarantine. Remember, you play with the idea. I was in quarantine at that time 2 weeks, and I was just like eating. So while in quarantine, they extended the period. So I already forgot about the show.
Right.
I just eating everything, pizza, and you just come back from studying, you want everything, eating patty, like.
Yeah.
Everything you could think about.
Everything you've been dreaming about out there, you reach home now, like, time to have it.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah. In quarantine.
Anything you could think about. And then I got the email while in quarantine. I was like, oh snap.
Probably with a fry in your hand. Like, just really like, I probably shouldn't eat this.
What am I going to do? So from the get-go, I started training like the end of January, early February, roughly. And she, as mentioned, she was very gentle. So she did not say, oh, you're going to stop eating pizza. She just said, well, you're going to just have to pick the day that you're going to eat pizza. And even though she would say, okay, if you're training, you could have pizza maybe twice a week. But if you're not training, then, you can't really dabble too much.
Burning all them carbs. They ain't burning them carbs. So that in itself was part of it. Yeah.
And just getting consistent. And also knowing that somebody's showing up for you. Like the accountability partner. I think we often underestimate the role that a coach or a chaperone plays. And
I'll shout out your chaperone.
Please, she deserves.
Ozell.
Listen.
So we often, when some of the girls, so they might go to a gym with a trainer attached, and they will be training like multiple people. But for me, my trainer was waiting for me.
Right.
At 5. It's not like, okay, if she come today or she don't come tomorrow, then okay, ain't really a big deal. When I go 5 o'clock in the morning, I know she's showing up there just for me to make sure that she give me all the attention that I need.
Right.
So I think that played also like a big role in getting me where. And people think that I train like 6 out of the 7 days of the week. I only train 3 days.
Wow.
That's it. 3 days.
Consistency and being strategic. That's what it is.
That's it. And she really prioritized rest. Like, you can't perform if you're burnt out.
Right.
So if you're training 6 days a week, there's no way.
Yeah. Your body gets in the chance to
especially if you're not like a bodybuilder.
Right.
Like, it's not something that you're used to doing.
Yeah. Well, let's move forward a bit to the sisterhood of the pageantry, because that's the one thing I recognized with this set of girls especially. It felt like you guys built this bond throughout the pageant.
That was the most surprising, because I think I've said it before that we heard a lot of negative stuff throughout the journey, but we did not experience half of those things, especially between us. Like, there was no negative vibes per se. Like, honestly, like, I still can't believe. I think we developed a really, really good friendship. Even though all of us knew that we wanted to win, we shared our struggles, experiences throughout the journey, which made it, more of a sisterhood.
You know what it is, Jade? Sometimes people don't recognize that there's a difference between being competitive and being combative.
Yes.
Like, yeah, you could be competitive and friends. Like you could and I think that's something to be admired because the thing about it is the only people who could actually relate to the experience that you're having are the people who are sharing it with you.
Definitely.
Right? The people who really know what
Definitely.
it is because they're going through it themselves. And I think that in itself brings people closer. Right?
The other thing too, as much as there were a lot of appearances, I think the appearances brought us closer together. So we got the opportunity to bond over a lot of things. So I think, so I must shout out the Carnival Committee for that. So while it did often seem like a lot, it helped in creating that sisterhood.
Right, right. So it wasn't like you're over here doing your thing, preparing show, you're doing your thing.
Yeah, there were a lot of group activities, even with the swimsuit contestants.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So the pageant contestants really just all kind of came together for a lot of
Yeah,
days.
we had fun days, all of the fun days, the makeup sessions. The only session that we had separate from the swimsuit contestants was the interview.
Well, let's jump to show night because here we are now. All of this preparation is coming to a head. Going into the night, how were you feeling?
Nervous.
No, but still after all the preparation.
What? I think even as a performer, you always get nervous when it's time to perform. You always get nervous, but Miss St. Kitts was different. I mean, it's something that I've been looking forward to for a long time, and it's a goal that I always raved about. So show night, I was nervous, but I knew that once I had like a good mental space, so I packed my bag, I labeled everything. I packed my bag myself, labeled everything. My chaperone, she's very good on prioritizing your mental health. And I think that played a very pivotal role in my journey, especially with all the insecurities and doubts that came about throughout the journey. So she would be like, what do I need to do to get you into the best mental space? How can I help you?
Right.
You need to be a bit more kind to yourself. And also my colleagues and from the National Bank Risk and Compliance Unit, there's also, because they would be dealing with me on a daily basis throughout the day. So they would see when, you know, maybe like a spell, like, oh my gosh, I can't, but oh, I'm so nervous for this. Oh, I have this interview to do later. And oh my gosh. And, you know, you start to panic. But I think she really prioritized my mental space. So show night, I was very calm. My team on a whole, Mimi brought some music and she tried to boost me up with some highlights. So that kind of like set the mood, right? I mean, I was still nervous. So before fanfare, because I knew interview was coming right after, I was kind of like walking back and forth.
Yeah.
And I wasn't at ease because I knew, even though I was looking forward to fanfare, because who doesn't love dancing? I knew, like in the back of my head, I was like, what was coming up after. I couldn't even focus so much on fanfare. I was just in my mind, okay, you need to make sure you're in the best space for the interview segment that's coming up next.
I mean, what I'm really hearing from you is that a big part of dealing with the chaos, and let's be frank, like it can be a bit chaotic on show night. Going from one, I mean, I have the privilege of being backstage for a lot of these events, and I see like people don't know. Sometimes these girls come off the stage and it's like the asthma pump gotta be there waiting, like
wow.
The type of stress and energy that it takes just to get through that event is
back
insane.
to back, it's like.
But what I'm hearing is that a lot of just dealing with that comes down to the team members and the people who surround you, right? And I mean,
100%.
Yeah,
She's
I
like,
mean, that in itself is
okay, you
crazy.
have to, because these events, you seem like, it feel like you have a lot of time, like, maybe like for rehearsal, it'd be like, oh, there are 4 other girls to go, I have time to get ready, but Shonite is like, they're calling your name, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's time.
I just come off the stage, I gotta go back.
Yeah, and then you still have to switch hair, you still have to switch wardrobe, maybe change your makeup.
Jade,
It's
it
so
takes
much.
me a half hour to put my hair in a bun.
I don't know
I don't know
they
how they do it.
And
So-
shout out to you especially for I don't
I
know if I've ever
I was gonna go there. Go ahead.
I don't know if I've ever seen it in my life where
Preach.
we had this type of representation
Preach.
where you were somebody that actually did not opt for a wig or weave. You actually rocked your natural hair and you did it so beautifully.
Thank you. I've received comments with people saying, what are you going to do with your hair? And I'm always like,
Point them out to me now.
No, you want to fight.
What you mean what I'm going to do with my hair? I mean,
Weird.
what am I supposed to do with my hair? Like, what do you expect me to do with my hair? So people played with the idea of a wig. And I'm like, a wig?
For what?
First of all, I have so much hair, like, a wig would look ridiculous.
Yes, I fully understand.
But Shonite, I said, I like to be very, very organized, and that keeps me relaxed. So I sent a breakdown of each segment to my stylist, and I told her, this is the hairstyle for each segment. And even with my team, we practice in each hairstyle before Shonite.
So you could execute it, you
Yeah.
know, seamlessly on the night.
Yeah.
Okay,
and,
hold on. People don't understand that, you know. But let me not say
Imagine
people.
that.
Man. Men, we don't understand these things. Like,
Practicing
yes,
your hairstyle before you wear
not
it?
only that, each segment, the girls coming out in a totally different, not only different hairstyle, different makeup and so.
Everything.
Yeah.
And that is done in under
I'd be.
7. I don't even know how y'all were able. It's probably so
Yeah,
many
maybe.
hands on deck at the same time.
But you see, like, if
Amazing.
you prepare before, like, do exactly what you're supposed to do at the rehearsals, so that production and everybody know exactly what you're doing and not necessarily, like, hiding before Shonite, then things would be a bit more seamless for you. For example, with my hair, as you know, with my talent, I had to be in the air, spinning, and upside down. So we had to make sure that it didn't fall out.
Yeah.
So things like that would
Different
play.
considerations, yeah. Well, I mean, you went through several segments, and after and I'm gonna be honest, it felt to me watching the show almost as if after every segment you almost like you picked up momentum. That's me looking on. That's me looking on. And so I don't know if that's really what was happening. But I remember once we got to the second interview segment at the end, it kind of felt like even if it might not be reality, it almost feels like it comes down to this.
Listen.
Now understanding that this was one of the segments that you were a bit apprehensive about at the start.
I was most nervous.
Oh, I could
Because
imagine.
your platform is your platform. You're passionate about it. I mean,
You could talk about
you could
that,
talk
yeah.
about it. You've been talking about it throughout your whole journey. Then swimsuit, you prepare for it. You practice, talent, the same thing. Dress, kind of the same thing. Everything you just basically putting it on, gracing the stage, showcasing what you've been longing to do. But the last one, you don't really know what you're getting asked. I
Right.
mean, you could prepare as much as possible. And, you know, they say the prevalent issues, you know, it's broad. It can be anything.
Right.
And, of course, there were some questions that I was long and I dreamt of getting. But social media was not on. Social media was not on. So, backstage, you know, they put these headphones on us and they were playing music, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to listen to music.
We're trying to think, trying to
Right,
clear your mind.
Yeah.
And then, so I was most nervous for that because I felt like that was the one that could go
Either way. Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah.
And it's really your thoughts being judged and how the judges also perceive what you have to say.
Yeah. I think a lot of that is subjective, and even just recognizing that could be a little strenuous. Yeah, just even mentally, because I remember this show is going on and you're thinking, okay, this is a close show, by do you guys? I don't even think you guys have time to think about what any of the other contestants are doing. You guys are just going back and forth, and you really just in your own world.
Will ask me, do you believe this person deserve this or that? I ain't get to see what it is.
Yeah, like you're not next to the stage while you're doing it.
Like
you're backstage.
busy
getting ready for the next segment.
Getting ready for the next segment.
Well, I mean, what was that moment like as they begin calling out the final scores? Because I always wonder like what that must feel like for the contestants.
Yes.
Like you're on stage, you've already performed, it's out of your control now, right?
I was relaxed. When I first contacted my chaperone, and even throughout the journey, and when I expressed myself to even people and other girls, my fear, of course, nobody wants to lose, but my biggest fear wasn't losing. My biggest fear was losing because of my doing. Like, I did not do something that I was supposed to do. And I kept saying I could live with the fact that I did everything that I was supposed to do, and one of the girls just edged me out. Yeah. They outperformed me, but I did my best. But me messing up something, it would be like it slipped through my fingers. Yeah. That's how it would feel.
You didn't want to be in a position where you could blame yourself.
Yeah. So as the night went along, and of course you see your team feedback, so it would be like, oh, good job, Nikki. But I felt content knowing that I did my best, and for the most, like, nothing goes seamless, but I felt content knowing that I did, for the most part, what I was supposed to do.
Right, so by the time they got to the thing, you were content?
Yeah, I was content.
Oh, wow.
So how did you feel when they announced your name? I mean, you kind of could figure from the different...
She couldn't move her feet with all the little trophies that were... I was scared.
When we practiced coronation, they said, okay, when your name is called, step forward for each segment. So I was like, okay, step forward, step back. And then in my head, it's like, should I step forward? Should I step back? Should I just stay here?
yeah, after a while, it's just like...
Where can I go? There's too many trophies around me. There's literally no space for me. But, boy, this year was one. Kudos to all of the girls. Kudos to you for winning.
It was a great show overall.
Man, I'm so happy that I didn't attend personally, but I watched live and I was not disappointed.
Thank you very much. I'll say thank you on behalf of the girls also.
Yes, they were quite something. We wish we had more time to get into what you got.
Man, time went by so quickly.
I know, right? We wish we had time to get into what you have coming up, but maybe, just maybe, we will have to have you back on so we could discuss a bit more, because
I'm gonna tell you something, Jade. I feel Nekirah is one of those queens that we're gonna be hearing a lot about during her reign.
Definitely.
And so I have a feeling she's gonna be back sooner rather than later.
Indeed. Alrighty, no problem. Indeed. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, but we appreciate you taking the time out and come hanging out with us.
Thanks for having me too. Thanks for having me.
For sure. But Jade,
home time.
It's been a great week.
Oh,